Hi, I'm Chester Buckley, and this is Chester Buckley's Comic Strip World. As you can see, I'm here inking a comic strip which will be featured in a newspaper somewhere around the country. Right now I'm inking a comic strip called Cotton Candy, which tells the antics of me as a little boy and my adventures. And Cotton Candy is really popular with people who like to read comic strips. And that's what this show is about, comic strips and how they're produced. And I'm inking one of the characters of Cotton Candy, the pigtails of Teresa, one of the main characters here. And as you should know, comic strips start with the penciling process. And we'll be going into that a little bit more as the program goes along. But right now I'm inking a comic strip of Cotton Candy, and I'm doing her pigtails here and going into her face. And we'll be doing a complete lesson in just a moment on the program today. And I'm doing her eyebrows now and Teresa's eyes. And you have to make sure that you have the pen line follow the penciled lines to a T. No sloppiness in comic strips. You have to be as neat as a pen for the editor to approve it. And now I'm doing her nose and her mouth. And as you can see, I'm inking very slowly. That's one of the most important factors of doing comic strips, making the ink lines very neat. And they have to be done on waterproof India ink that you can buy at any art store. So come a little closer and take a look at my comic strip, Cotton Candy. Let's read it together. And as you can see, this is my studio. Now, as you can see here, I'm inking Teresa's shirt. Teresa's a very popular character in the Cotton Candy comic strip series. We're doing a daily comic strip right now. The comic strips that you see daily are in black and white. The comic strips that you see on Sunday are in color. And we'll be doing a color Sunday in one of our programs, but today we're going to work on a Cotton Candy daily strip. So now I'm inking Teresa's hands. And she has these little tiny fingernails. So take a look at how I go over the lines on the pencil lines. First, they were sketched out in pencil, and that was already done before the show started. So now what we're doing is inking over those lines, and that's making an actual comic strip. So look closely at how I ink this comic strip. It's all part of the comic strip world. Okay. Stop. Now, as you can see here, I'm inking Chester's hair here, or you could call it an afro. Chester is the lead character in Cotton Candy, and he's a cartoonist in the comic strip, and he has a lot of trouble getting his cartoons on to newspapers. And that's the whole humor of Cotton Candy. Each character has a talent, an individual talent. And right now I'm doing his eyebrows and his eyes and his nose. And we're going into his mouth and chin area here. And you remember, you got to follow those lines closely, just the way they are penciled on the sheet of cardboard or Bristol board. That's what they're really called, Bristol paper. Now I'm doing his beret and his neck. So for those of you who are doing this at home, make sure that you watch very closely. On each program we do an actual comic strip, and we get into the business of producing comic strips. And soon we'll be talking a little bit about comic books that I publish for my characters and people who read comics. Now we're doing Chester's shirt here. And he's holding his hands up. This hand is upward. So that shows action or movement of the characters. When you're doing a comic strip, you want to remember that your characters should be simple. The drawing should be fun to look at, and you don't have to put Picasso style of artwork or Norman Rockwell. These are cartoons, and they have to be simple. And that's the whole idea when you're doing comic strips. That makes it easy to ink and also fun to look at in the daily newspaper. And I'm sure all of you people out there read comics every day. I mean, the whole world reads comic strips, and it's one of the most popular parts of a newspaper. So here we are doing Chester's legs here on the cotton candy comic strip. And as you can see, I'm constantly putting my ink pen into a bottle here. This is an ink bottle, waterproof ink. As I said before, you can get it at any art store around the country. Now we're doing the lettering, and that's an important part of comic strips. First, let me finish Teresa's ice cream cone here. Teresa in this comic strip is holding an ice cream cone, and as usual, Chester wants some of it too. What is Teresa going to do? Will she give him that ice cream cone? Well, just watch and find out, because we're doing the first frame of a comic strip here, and now I'm doing the lettering. And you've got to be very neat here. Make sure that